Reelection first, the oil spill second. That's the subject of today's Daily Filibuster. I'm Mike Collins. Yesterday, Tony Hayward, CEO of British Petroleum, was forced to go to Capitol Hill and deal with members of Congress who cared more about their re-election prospects than fixing the oil spill. It's no wonder Congress has only a 22% approval rating. Yesterday, Tony Hayward visited Capitol Hill, and before he could even get a word in edgewise, he was forced to listen to 90 minutes of members of Congress bloviating. The first bloviator is Congressman Bart Stupak, who got his 15 minutes of fame with the abortion language back in the healthcare bill, but he was sure not to be outdone yesterday with some rhetoric of his own.
For the Americans who live and work on the Gulf Coast, it may be years before they get their lives back. For the Americans who lost their lives on the rigs, their families may never get their lives back. Mr. Hayward, I'm sure you will get your life back, and with a golden parachute back to England. But we in America are left with the terrible consequences of BP's reckless disregard for safety.
Shame on members of Congress for trying to score political points by making these grand ad hominem attacks on the CEO of British Petroleum. Yes, people are mad. Yes, you are trying to reflect the public anger, but at the same time, try to ask some questions that might resolve the oil leak, that might ensure that the people of the Gulf region are protected, rather than just throwing bombs that get you some headlines. And to tell you the truth, he is getting the headlines because we're playing the clips right now. Then you get other members of Congress who try to score political points against the president, such as Congressman Barton.
I think it is a tragedy of the first proportion that a private corporation can be subjected to what I would characterize as a shakedown, participating in what amounts to a $20 billion slush fund.
And this rhetoric, which says that the $20 billion that BP is setting aside for the Gulf region shouldn't have occurred, really is standing in a really bad spot with a populist backlash. The entire Republican House leadership backed away from Barton's comments and forced him to apologize yesterday, illustrating how much this political theater is dangerous in these congressional hearings. Then you have the usual suspects, the protesters. And with all this nonsense, finally you get to the CEO, Tony Hayward. And he is stuck sitting there apologizing.
I want to speak directly to the people who live and work in the Gulf region. I know that this incident has had a profound impact on your lives and caused great turmoil, and I deeply regret that.
And basically passing along the same rhetoric that you'll hear in his TV spot.
To those affected and your families, I'm deeply sorry. The Gulf is home for thousands of BP employees, and we all feel the impact.
Congress has a vested interest in investigating this matter and ensuring that this Deepwater Horizon's explosion never occurs on another rig off our shores, or anywhere in the world for that matter. But unfortunately, the questions members of Congress were answering and the tenor in which they conducted themselves had nothing to do with such a goal. Instead, it had everything to do with capitalizing on their 5 to 10 to 15 minutes of television time, as many of the major news outlets covered the video of the House hearing streaming. And if this is the way Congress really conducts itself, it's no wonder that it's in the tank, and it's only going to get worse as these members of Congress's egos continue to get larger. That's today's Daily Filibuster. Thank you for watching.